What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to the B Stream once again. I'm Des, this is Tim, and we've got a belter of a game coming your way very, very shortly. It's DarkZero versus G2. Two organizations whose names it's hard to beat, really, in this game, Tim. Now, fortunately for both teams, they have already qualified, but this is now that fight for first place. Who gets to go in with the stronger seed? This game is going to have a massive impact on that.
Oh, it's going to be a good one, because in this game specifically, if G2 win, they will tie up on points with DarkZero, both on 11, but G2 have got one more game to go. So they've got to play W7M towards, it's actually in the next game, sorry, the one that follows this. So there's an opportunity for G2 to actually do this straight up on points. If not, and they tie up, obviously it'll depend on a number of factors.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas DarkZero, if they win by any means, they escape G2's clutches. G2 simply cannot catch them.
Pops.
It gets a bit complicated if G2 like win in overtime, and yeah, there's lots of other complications in there. Basically, DZ, you got to win. If you win, you're good, you're clear, you guarantee first place. Otherwise, it's down to G2 and W7M. Let's take a look through these teams real quick, though. Of course, you should know their names by now. You've seen them for the last couple of days, but just in case you're tuning in, maybe one of the orgs have tweeted something and you think, oh, I best check out what's going on in this game called Rainbow Six Siege. Well, here are the players that you need to be aware of. Some shout-outs to a couple of these players on the side of G2, by the way. Tim Virtue, especially, I think, has impressed so far this event. Alamar's had a good couple of games as well. It's all the makings of a team that could go far in the competition, but it's about keeping it together.
It is, and the thing is, like, you look at Virtue's a really good shout.
I didn't expect that to come back to us so quick then, to be honest with you, but here we are.
I was like this, I was like,
Cable's there, just sauntering around, yeah, you know, as you do.
Yeah.
Carry on. Apparently, our egos need to be kept in check, so here we are. Thank you very much, Simon. Carry on, Tim.
Probably fair.
Before we were so rudely interrupted by the producer.
Virtue is a really good point to make, because this is what G2 need. Obviously, yes, they've got immediately the standout gunners, Doki, Citizen,
yeah,
but they've had big games, but they've been a little bit quiet here and there. So when you've then got Virtue who's going to step up in the back line and start finding those kills, having those good games that he's had, that's a massive help. That is a big, big thing for this lineup, and it's something they need to develop going forward over time. We've been talking about it so much. You can't have them 1-2 player teams anymore. It's got to be everybody's able to chip in, and G2 are starting to show us that.
Absolutely. On the other side, though, Doki versus Pamba has kind of been a talking point so far for DarkZero. They're in here looking to cement that first place spot and be one of those top seed teams. So coming into the quarterfinals, well, they'll be against a second place team, because that will put them in the strongest position.
DarkZero have impressed me so far, I'm going to be honest.
Like a Canadian, he's just so cool.
He really is, effortlessly. I think, you know, coming into this tournament, I wasn't really sure what to expect of DarkZero, and in the last few that I've seen them, they've been a little bit sort of reserved in their play. They've not necessarily always been aggressive enough, they've not been sort of fragging enough, and they've struggled. This time, they have come in and been really, really impressive so far. I'll be honest, I didn't really see DarkZero topping this group. I thought it would be probably G2 or Heroic. But they've come out and really impressed me so far, and I am excited to see them in best of threes, excited to see them in those playoff stages.
I know a few weeks ago everyone was looking at this group, and obviously before we knew about the visa issues coming through for a few of the LATAM teams, but many looked at this as the group of death and said, you know, DarkZero, you're probably bottom of the pack here alongside G2. Maybe some were debating. Everyone thought Heroic would do well. W7M, the young upstarts coming out of LATAM were really going to fly, but just simply wasn't to be the case, as we've now seen. Things looking a little bit topsy-turvy, upside down compared to expectations. And just as a reminder, here is how things sit. We've already given you a brief run-through. If G2 win here, they get 3 points. They match DarkZero, of course, win in regulation. They then play W7M as the last game in this group, so that's the one that you're looking forward to later on. Really, if W7M take all 3 points against G2, they will stop G2 going any further in terms of that climb ahead of DarkZero.
That's it. Like I say, it's all about jostling, and I know we've already said it today. I'm going to say it again. When you look at the quarterfinal matchups on Friday, if G2 or DarkZero go home and you look at it and think, that was a tough game, mate, you know, they had Team Liquid, they had, you know, if that's based on them coming out of here second place, they might look at that and think, had we made first place, it could have been a different story. So that is why this jostling for position is so important. Des has gone, he's had enough.
Producers can't see me, therefore they can't catch me off guard anymore.
He's got his cable down in front. People probably won't realise at home, but it's a real niggle for producers. If you have your cable in front of you, you tend to hear about it, because then you look like Des.
Yes.
Nobody wants
this
that.
magic cable that like is the you kind of get the kind of callback on camera and they're just like
producers watching this at home and now like move your cable.
The thing is, we can try and win this war as much as we like. They control whether we're being heard or not.
Silences.
They control whether we're getting hot mic'd or not. I've just been told I'm getting hot mic'd 3 more times, so clearly I can't win.
Absolutely not. Move the cable. Move the cable.
That's it. Okay, we're good. Sorted. I'll be a good boy now.
The true professionals run it across the other side of the back.
They do. Those guys out there are the ones doing the real job. Still, I want to see what map we're going to in this fixture as well, because we've seen a lot of Villa, a lot of Cafe, good bit of club as well for us. It's been pretty...
Is there any maps you'd like to see,
Skyscraper, and we still don't get to see it.
How about a bit of Chalet?
Oh, I don't mind. Oh, Chalet. Oh, Chalet, Tim.
We've been waiting for a bit of Chalet, Des,
yes,
and we're going to get it with DarkZero and 2 good teams to play on Chalet as well.
Yeah, fantastic one. G2, one of the big go-to teams in our region that play on this map, and also...
Dorky loves a bit of Chalet. We've seen some real performances from him.
Loves a bit of Chalet. Loves his time up in the mountains skiing, absolutely. On the side of DarkZero, I've seen them have some good games back in Stage 3 as well. Absolutely. One of the games I watched back, clinical execution onto a couple of players around Mezzanine in a few instances, so lots to look forward to here. So for these two shaping off again, I can't really call it one way or the other right now. You just don't know what you're getting into when you step into this. It's like a bag of revels, Tim. All I know it's going to be is entertaining from start to finish.
Other confectionery available, of course.
Other confectionery available. We were always told we had to say that all the time. Back in Visa Cash UK, if you say a brand, you've also got to mention others, which is why you hear us make that joke sometimes. Pengu and Parker still snoozing somewhere. For the rest of us, though, Tim, the only one to go with DarkZero. Why?
Because I think they're going to win.
Fantastic.
Something more than that. Honestly, no, DarkZero have genuinely really impressed me. And I think that they are going to come out on top here. I think they're going to top the group. I think they're going to go through into playoffs really, really strong. I'm going to go as far as to say I think we're going to see DarkZero in the Final Four.
I hope they lose this one so you and I are perfectly balanced on our predictions today. Because in that first game, I went for Astralis, you went BDS, you were correct. We all got BDS in the second game. We all got Liquid, then Liquid. In fact, no, Liquid lost to Exet.
No, Liquid lost to Exet, and then Liquid beat Furia. So
no. They didn't beat them, Tim. They
demolished them.
They pulverized them, Tim.
I'm 3 out of 4 though. I'm 75% on the B stream games. I don't know how I've done on the A stream games so far. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, we'll check later, and we'll see how wrong you are.
Probably quite.
The thing is, probably better than me.
The predictions, if you get, honestly, at this level of tournament, with the way Siege is now, Global Siege, these teams are so close to each other in terms of ability. If you're getting 50-60%, you're nailing it, to be honest. I'm not just trying to set us up with like a low bar here so that we look good. Like genuinely, if you're hitting 60% on predictions, you're doing pretty well.
Basically, Tim's already gone and found out I'm on like 37% and he's just trying to save me a little bit here.
I don't know for the entire tournament.
A mighty fall from grace. I wonder actually, production can hear us at the minute. Production, if you have any access to the predictions, can you find out who is wrong, who is right, what kind of ranking we've got at the minute? We're all a competitive bunch and we like to know. Apparently they'll think about it. To be fair, Tim, I'm quite short on favours at the minute.
This is the problem, you see.
You need to ask the question.
Production, if you wouldn't mind, it would be absolutely fantastic.
I love how you ask and they go, yeah, we'll sort it out for you.
If you could get us some figures, that would be... I'd just like to know anything for me. Thank you very much, Producer Simon. I'd just like to know how much I'm beating Des by, to be honest.
That's all it comes down to, isn't it? Now, should we really kind of put a stake on this, right? If you're further ahead, you buy me a drink. If I'm further ahead, you still buy me a drink.
I mean, I'll be buying you one anyway, I'm guessing, but it sounds fair. Why not, why not see who's on top?
Absolutely, mate. It'd be fun to find out. We'll find that out shortly as well. We will be getting into game in a couple of minutes, just so you guys are aware. No, there are a few killjoys out there who go, oh, casters having fun. How dare you have fun? Just start the game. You paid to cast, not to talk rubbish. Yeah, we know, but sometimes you've got to talk rubbish. It's kind of one of them things where, like, you got a job and you got other little responsibilities here and there, as is to talk a bunch of crap, Tim. And we do a pretty good job of it.
If the game's not quite ready, then that is absolutely what we are expected to do, is to keep things going until it is. Don't worry, we don't have a big...
Canadian's having a jam.
He's loving life. He's just vibing there, isn't he? He's ready to go. He's ready to go. I'm sort of hoping that we get a few of those Canadian moments. You know, those real clippable Canadian moments at the tournament. As we've said before, DarkZero have seemed to like level it off a little bit. They don't always have that big like high energy anymore. They're looking to play in sort of a neutral tone. We've discussed this already. You know, you don't necessarily want your players like miles up here or all the way down there. You just want them somewhere nice and level in the middle. And that seems to be a bit of a philosophy that DarkZero have taken on. But honestly, I just want Canadian screaming at somebody.
That's the thing, because the last time Canadian had a crowd in front of him, He was going
I think
off.
that's when it kicks in. That's when he can't help himself.
Because he was back on SSG when they won the whole thing at SI 2020.
Yeah.
Got to bring back some of them beans again and put them out on the stage. That's what you want to see. He's the man that you want gassing up a crowd. But when it's a pretty quiet room, it's just us that we can turn around and occasionally see him through the curtains, Tim. He's like, right, these boys, they can have it nice and calm. I'm saving the real energy for those 2,000 people that are joining us on Friday.
It's not going to be quiet on Friday, Des, and
No.
I cannot wait. It's been a pleasure so far casting the games and seeing them all go down and watching the players and everything else, but it's just going to go up a notch.
And I just love reading, like, because for those who also understand, we'll break the fourth wall a little bit. So you see, obviously, our backdrop, you see us stood in front of it. We have a little desk that's got our Predator laptop on, sponsor obligations, all that kind of good stuff. We have a little mixing desk in front of us where we can change a bunch of settings. And then we've got 2 screens in front of us that we cast from. One is the program feed, as we call it, i.e. what you guys see now, which is us. That's on our right-hand side. On the left-hand side, gesture for me, please, Tim. Thank you very much. Wonderful assistant. We see the observer feed. So on there, we can see what's going on in the lobby, how many players are in, which is why we can tell you we're almost ready to go. And we can also see the players having a little bit of a laugh in all chat. And occasionally, you get a picture or a screen grab or something. It gets thrown on Twitter, and it's just hilarious. Anaton is probably the funniest bugger ever I've ever seen
very funny
in the all chat. Because I don't think, bless him, he fully understands what some words mean in English. Understandably, he's a Japanese player, speaks Japanese. And him and Medics have got a very special bond that seems to follow them across events. I won't be able to say on air what it is that he keeps on calling him, but ask Medics, and he will tell you everything you need to know about their special relationship.
Very good friends.
Yes. Everyone's saying so far, Doki shouldn't be playing this game because he looks a little bit tired, a little bit sleepy, and someone needs to sub in for him instead. Do you fancy having a go, Tim?
Well, he's going to get a day off tomorrow, isn't he? Could I sub in for Doki? That is the question.
It's not really a role swap, though, is it? Because like you'd probably swap in for Prano.
I could. I'm not. Right. I was going. Did you see how I stopped myself then? I was going to say yes. I could definitely swap in for Prano. Prano, I could absolutely not swap in for you. But yeah, in terms of roles, I could, go and hold F and put the plant down. I wouldn't get much else done. Think of me more as a Titan. I couldn't be going in there getting frags, but I could maybe get a plant or two.
All right. Apparently, we've been told that they've done the hard work. They've gone and calculated our prediction rates. Now we get to find out what it is.
Oh, I hope I'm.
Come on. Production, I really need a drink, and this guy needs to be buying it for me. Come on. What's the numbers?
I'm first. 5 out of 7.
How many have I got correct then? 3 out of 7?
Des! You're not even reaching the 60%.
This is rubbish.
That's like what? That's like about 40%. Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
Good stuff.
What am I buying you then?
We'll see.
All right. We'll decide later. Got it.
We'll see what the most expensive.
Oh no,
is.
the cable. Isn't that such a shame production? It's back there again.
Des is rebelling.
The thing is, the proper way of doing it normally is like you put it over like this way, because then it wraps around your right-hand side in front of you. This is what I said.
Professionals would have it wrapped around.
Is this like the way
other side of the body? Because then it doesn't.
The way you work it out between casters is like
forward over the shoulder.
This is lawful, and then when it's on the other side, that's the chaotic side.
That's the chaotic side.
I am the chaotic side.
Rather than putting it over your shoulder, you actually do a little spin.
I'll send you in your little like ballet pirouettes, mate.
You do a little 360 and it wraps it around your body.
I want to start singing every time you start spinning and dancing. It's beautiful. Well, let's get into game then, ladies and gents. We've talked enough smack.
Press button.
We pressed the button. I promise the button has been pressed. And now we're into Chalet. Both of these teams are qualified. As a reminder, it's going to be a good bit of fun and hopefully highly competitive from start to finish. Tim, we're kicking things off with the bans, and G2 start on the defensive side. Their first attacking ban is going to be the Finker. We saw an Iana ban earlier on today and said, well, the problem is Finker is extremely popular. Doki, please stop typing T. Finker is really, really popular. Pretty much every entry at this tournament is playing Finker as their go-to main operator. The global heal, the res, the LMG, the nades, the Gon 6. She just does everything. DarkZero also coming in with the Osa ban because Prano has been playing that operator quite a bit lately.
Very valuable operator. We've seen it used on Chalet as well. Just trying to get in with the Talon shield, get it down, and then Osa's able to get in behind, get a plant down, and have that cover there. So definitely valuable.
Alamar stirring the pot. Well, my ban coming through is the second one, so nades can really, really fly through. You guys know that Doki needs Finker more? Arguably so. These guys are having... The chat's moving too fast for me. I just can't keep up. Valkyrie going to be the final band that comes through, taking away a very popular operator that we see time and time again being taken away. And in the times it has been left through, well, there's an IQ to be picked out as well. In we go then. Round number 1. Bar and Gaming going to be the site that we step into. DarkZero normally have some pretty creative lineups. Capitao, a very big part of it historically. Normally used to torch the player that's sat on mezzanine, holding against a single reinforced wall, looking into library. It looks like they're not going to change away from that just now.
Doki is the super genius. Doki, I mean, he's a nice guy and I love him. I'm not sure he's the super genius.
How small is Pamba? Whoever wins this match is taller. So Pamba's quite small. I haven't really looked at Pamba, to be fair.
No, I haven't looked specifically.
Everyone's just so focused on Doki.
Round number 1. It's going to be Bart and get him in.
What? You said the number, Tim.
Round number 1.
Just round 1.
Round number 1.
Round 1.
Round number 1.
Just round 1.
I'm saying the same thing. G2 versus DarkZero about to get underway. They're going to be taking G2 on the defense to begin with. It's going to be Bar and Gaming, and we've got a castle. Not too much of a surprise. Alamau is going to be getting the double window, just trying to protect the player on mezzanine. They're going to have somebody playing probably inside a library and hopefully at the top of library stairs, although we've seen a few teams recently just foregoing that library stairs player, but I've spotted the shield. Des is in position. Thank you very much. I think we've maybe got...
Siano.
I was going to say, I think we've got Siano with us, so thank you very much, Siano. And Doki comes in with a huge opener onto NJR, taking down the sledge, which is 2 nades gone, and that means that shield at the top of library stairs and the player behind it could be even safer.
And the vertical destruction as well, which you really want when you've got access to library itself. Smash that half floor to pieces, get some visibility opened up, and it makes it a little bit easier for the attackers to get a plant in through the window. But there are still other tools on side they can make use of here. They've got those Flores drones if they want to make use of them. I look back to when Flores first came in, interestingly, Meryu, who was playing at the time for Guts, I want to say, made use of Flores quite extensively and was using it a lot on Clubhouse to open up rotations or open up, vertical holes in the kitchen hallway when attacking downstairs on Clubhouse. So you can still use it for that purpose, but obviously the main reason why you bring a Flores is to get rid of things like shields, bulletproof cameras, banshees, all these bulletproof gadgets that can't be dealt with otherwise unless you're tossing nades at them. But without your sledge, again, you're losing not just the hammer, but also 2 of those frag grenades.
Virtue's really good in this position. We've seen him a few times playing in and around mezzanine, in and around library, on these defences, and he's very, very effective there. He's got Citizen backing him up from library stairs, so one is going to support the other. I'm not sure if they've got anybody inside a library as well. I think I see 3 silhouettes downstairs, so I don't think that they will be. It's going to be just the 2 of them. But DarkZero are going to have to remove one before they can get rid of the other. They need to choose which is going to be the case, and it looks like it's Virtue they're going to be going after, and Hyper manages to do it, but there goes Citizen, getting one onto Canadian, immediately traded by Hyper. Big round for him so far, 3v3, a minute 15 to go.
Yeah, Hyper just really breaking that one open. The distraction coming in from the office balcony, nades flying through, turns the attention away from Mez and onto that window, and that is when Hyper makes his move. A big 2k into library, and they've cleared out the majority of these defenders. Exactly what they're looking for, Tim, because now they've got that vertical control. So there will be a bit of work to still be done to get this open. You've lost Canadian in the process, so sadly not tons to play with, but I think they're going to use that hard breach gadget to open up the floor ever so slightly here and start getting some visibility downstairs into Split.
Eclipse just peppering shots through the floor with that Capitao LMG. Won't connect, but he was more looking for a line of sight than anything, and that he is going to gain. Hyper just holding this angle from the hatch. It's going to be taken over by Eclipse, who's just looking to force the player out of the connector there. Prano is going to take a little bit of damage from that asphyxiation arrow, and he's going to have to dip away, but he needs to keep himself alive. He's still got a Toxic Babe canister in pocket, and with 20 seconds left to go, that could prove particularly important. Now then, Pamba's dropped over the main stairs. Can he get anything going from that lobby door? Prano takes a peek. Will wish he didn't as Eclipse finds the kill. He's going to have an opportunity to pick up the downed Hyper, but it's 2v2. It's Doki and Alamau versus Hyper and Eclipse. There's 5 seconds left to go, and they've got to get something going on a plant here, DarkZero. That's exactly what Eclipse is going to do. He's in behind the bar. Can G2 stop him? He's got Hyper on the cover, and it's going to be a success. No! I thought for everything in me it was going to be a successful plant, but Doki manages to creep in, find the angle, get the kill, and that is going to be a round to G2.
Unfortunate, yeah, almost coming down to it there where you thought DarkZero might get that plant stuck and a 2v2 post plant would ensue, but no. About half a second left, and Doki strikes in from behind after a nice little sprint up those library stairs. First round then to G2, but nice and close, Tim. I feel like both teams in with a chance of coming out as the victor throughout that round. And then, like we said, we want a nice competitive fixture. We don't want a one-sided affair, and I'm glad that so far we aren't getting that.
Oh no, I want this going all the way, because I just know we could be looking at 2 semi-finalist teams here. In honesty, I don't want to get carried away for G2. I look at both of them the same coming in. G2, DarkZero, maybe not had the most convincing regular stage in EUL and NAL respectively.
You wouldn't put your house on them.
No, exactly. They don't come in as necessarily favourites, but after what we've seen from them in groups, I'm looking at them and thinking, actually, it wouldn't surprise me to see these two in the semi-finals as 2 of the top 4, because they've been going well, and the thing is, they've been improving day after day after day, and that's the big key. They could, I think, end up, because they're not going to meet each other in the quarterfinals, so I guess it's possible that they could come together in the semis. So we may well see another matchup between these two.
And just in case someone's wondering, well, why wouldn't you see them in the quarters, Ace? It's because you get seeded against teams from different groups. So you won't have a replay of 2 teams from the same group in a best of 3.
And a first will play a second.
Correct,
so
yeah.
so
but they may well face off against each other in the semis, and that would be one hell of a game. We looked at the lineups today, Tim, in terms of the games that we had to cash. You know, BDS, Astralis, G2 versus DZ, and both said they could be quarterfinal, semi-final level games.
Yeah, absolutely, and it wouldn't surprise me to start seeing some of those lining up. Now then, round number 2 is going to be taking place.
Just round 2, Tim.
That's what I'm saying, Des. Round number 2, we are going to be up on the top floor, Master and Office this time. And G2, they're getting themselves quite spread out on the defense here. I like to see Citizen on this side because it's going to prevent DarkZero just being able to walk into Library. Prano, where's he? All the way down in Narnia. It looks like he's down in Bar and
Narnia
Gaming.
caught on now, has it?
Fresh is taking effect on me.
Me and him have said it a few times, like someone's on the other side of the map. It's fucking Narnia, what's he doing out there? But alas, he will have an appearance at some point in the round, and that you can be absolutely sure. Pamba, nade in hand, almost gets swung on by Citizen, but no, scares Citizen away with that nade coming out in towards the Office side. Prano just dug in deep here, waiting for his chance to strike.
NJR was the opening death last time around, but not this. He's going to take Alamau down to kick things off, and that is advantage DarkZero, and that is double down on that Hyper. Is going to get Prano. Should find him down in Bar and Gaming. There were no games to be played as Pamba just creeps around the corner of half wall. Citizen just taken out far too easily there. So we've got Virtue on the solar stairs. Toxic Babe Canister is going to hold him at bay for the time being. Doki going down. This is going to be a quick round for DarkZero, and it looks like a potential flawless. Virtue doing everything he can. He's getting underneath. He's trying to mix things up. There goes the Toxic Babe Canister, but they know exactly where he is, and Aid comes down to stop him being able to go back up the trophy stairs, and that'll give an opportunity for Eclipse to get the diffuser planted, which he will do successfully. And DarkZero, they look like they are almost certainly going to close this out. 5v1, diffuser down. There is absolutely no way that they lose this. Virtue makes his way back up those solar stairs, cut down by Canadian, and that is going to be a flawless round to top things off in round number 2 for DarkZero.
You said that line a lot now I think about it. Things like, shut down, it's one of your go-tos.
People really like shut down.
I like it.
Well, you know, I'm putting words in the audience's mouth, but I've seen quite a few I've seen quite a few things of people like being, a couple of people said that they do impressions of it themselves at home, like if I say it, then they go, oh, shut down.
It's the kind of thing you'd expect in like a gladiator arena, wouldn't you? Everyone in the crowd just go, shut down at the same time.
I said cut down that time.
You did.
Yes.
So I was going to ask you, let's think of how many variants you can possibly come up with.
Probably
like,
just
shut down. No. Shut down, cut down, put down.
Put down.
It's a good one. What else can we get?
I'll do a few more. It'd be really fun when the audience is here. If they said it with me, that would be quite fun. You know, like a big we're going to overtime, Des, like where they know it's coming.
I tell you what, we've got to try this on Friday. Just turn to the crowd and go, say everyone, we're going to overtime. They'll love it.
Yeah, that would be good fun.
I mean, we assume that everyone at home now is like, what are these
Everyone's
two idiots?
sat there rolling. The chat's full of cringe.
They won't love it, Tim. Cringe caster, whatever. We'll look forward to that. What you got to do with cut down or shut down is like build a sentence up to it so they know there's a brief pause before, and then you deliver the line.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I'll start thinking of
Make
other
it like
things
a
you can
group
put in there.
activity, it'll be fun. Right, you keep thinking, Des. Round number 3 is coming up. We're going to be in kitchen and dining this time around. Spoils have been shared so far between G2 and DarkZero. They are both coming in to win this, let me tell you that. We've had peaks, we've had flawless rounds, and that is just within the first 2. Now then, Citizen, he's looking for a little bit of early action as well. He's on the frost, he's looking out at the piano window, but there's going to be no tunes to be played here as nobody presents themselves for that early challenge.
Might have the keys to a round win though for G2 if things carry on, Tim, because so far 30 seconds in, no one's died early. Woohoo! Good start for G2. In the last round, they were a little bit isolated, right? You had a Citizen by himself sat inside of office. You had Prano in lobby doing something. I think just admiring the furniture and thinking I'd love to be able to buy that one day. Maybe if we win the major, keep on dreaming, mate, maybe in the next one. However, with this round, it feels a little bit more supportive where Alamau had some support coming in from Library Stairs. Citizen was only a second or 2 away. And as far as I'm aware, there was an old mantra on G2 that you should be within 3 seconds of a teammate at any given time to be able to come in and play for a trade or go for an assist. So at least in this round, they are a little bit less scattered. It does feel more together, and DZ so far being held to account and held back.
NJR just holding what is a real power position here on this double window rappel. He could just do with a little bit of support.
You ready?
I was going to say, if somebody could open that door for him, then maybe he gets a kill. Pamba, he's going to take down Alamau with a headshot, and I think that was the combination of those 2 players, and it's just beautifully worked. Pamba comes into piano, he's looking for more. There's one inside of the closet, but I'm not sure if they're aware. Doki on the flank, he gets one, not just in time though, as Pamba manages to get Citizen before he turns his attention to Doki on the double door, and this is now DarkZero looking to take control of that top floor, but they need to deal with Doki first.
I'll be asking questions about NJR with that Nomad because Doki's hit them on the flank twice now, bringing down both Hyper and Pamba, the 2 entries for the team that have been shining so far in this game. 7 kills between them across 2 rounds, all undone by one sad little man.
Canadian going to be having a look.
You like that, didn't you, huh?
That's an old reference, is that one. Prano, he's going to find Canadian. That's advantage G2, but leveled up NJR onto Prano with the trade immediately. 2v2 now as Doki heads back down those main stairs, trying to get himself back into sight, and he is low health, but he's done a job so far, so he won't mind that at all. Virtue could well be the last line of defense here, though, Des, because Doki does not have many gunfights in him.
You know the whole shutdown thing, when do you say it? What's the context normally?
When someone gets shut down.
Is that when they got like a kill or 2 and then they get cut down as a third one, or?
I don't know, it's just when it feels suitable. Virtue hadn't got any kills, unlike NJR, who manages to find Doki, takes the last little bit of his health, and Virtue now last alive. As I said, last line of defense. He gets 1, can he get 2? He's in the 1v2. He's going to take a bit of damage, but Eclipse, he's going to have to plant here, Des. There's absolutely no option. He's come off, 2 seconds left to go. Virtue, keep yourself alive! He just manages it! Virtue putting G2 fans on the edge of their seats. Their hearts will be racing as there was fractions of seconds left as he was just dancing left and right, weaving, ducking, dipping, diving, and trying to keep himself out of the line of sight. Boy, was that close.
Even my heart was going then. I was like, just stop moving. Why have you gone back in? It was smart by Eclipse, though, to try and stick the plant immediately, because in most cases, players there will try and stick the plant, or sorry, go for the kill first. If they can't find you, they'll go for a plant in the last second or 2, but Eclipse goes for it straight away at the 8-second mark. It was a real kind of smart bait and switch, but ultimately, Virtue just a little bit too smart, a bit too wise to it, and goes back in for a fight. And Pamba and Doki are still at it in all chat. I got no idea what they were talking about then, because our replays on screen, but just saying to Doki, basically, you're not that guy.
I mean, he was that guy that
round. He was that guy, boys. Sorry, he did kind of kill 2 of you in the early rounds.
He was that guy that round, unfortunately for them. But
Tim, we've got time. Please tell me now. Give me an example of context for shutdown. I want to know what it is.
Well, I don't know, it's just when somebody gets killed, sometimes I just throw it in.
No, well, if someone gets like...
Virtue was 1v5. He moves up the rear stairs. I think it's when a kill's a bit of a crescendo. End around, Virtue's 1v5, he's moving up the stairs, DarkZero have been repositioning, they've got the plant down, and they find him, they get the round, they've done it. It's that sort of moment.
All right. I was just... Yeah, Simon just chirps in with denial. Yes.
Denied.
That as well.
Yeah, you know, that's it. It's that sort of... It's not like I don't say that for like... It's usually a round-ending kill.
Yeah,
when
you know what
maybe
there's
there's been a bit of momentum there. Shutdown particularly there's been a bit of momentum.
That's it.
And it ends.
Because I was going to say, that
was cut down.
Yes.
So that was 1v5 cut down.
Yeah, that's very, very fair. Because Shutdown for me, I think of it, I know exactly where it's coming to my mind. This is why I was curious about it. There's a MOBA that I play when you got 3 kills.
We're really breaking this down.
We are.
At this point.
Look, I'm trying to dig into the mind, to the psyche of Tim here, right?
Nobody's
I'm trying to understand
interested,
it. No, they are. They really are, Tim. Trust. I am. I'm one person and I'm interested. But then there's another game I play. You get 3 kills in a row. If you then die afterwards, you are shut down because your killing spree has been ended. So it's a similar thing in this. If someone's getting that momentum going and then you kill them, I'm trying to help the audience be aware so when the crowd turns up, they'll know when it might come out so they can join you. I'm trying to do you a favour, Tim.
I'll have to get some signs or something that I can hold up. So
can you cast? I'll turn around and grab one, turn to face the crowd like, ready, 3, 2, 1, shut down!
It would never work.
No, it would. We're going to try it. We're on it.
Hyper's been doing a lot of work on the Hibana to take out the castle barricades and other associated or assorted utility, rather, to aid the DarkZero. Push a minute and a half in. They haven't really had too much of a challenge. They've not got themselves established inside of the map yet. They're attacking onto bar and gaming. Virtue is on mezzanine once again. This was a position that they actually dealt with really, really well last time around. They focused on Virtue. They got him killed really quickly. They put him in the line of sight of Hyper, and he got the kill. But this time, they've not really pushed it as much. Alamai's going to take down Pamba. That's the opener.
Pamba was trying, but just not today, Tim. Not today.
Not today.
Because he was playing.
See, I knew you loved it. Look at you getting involved.
I wanted to steal that away from you before you took it off me.
Feel free.
I just did. Thanks.
More the merrier.
More dad humour in the chat. Let's go. Alrighty then, Virtue holding in the spot that we've already seen him on before up here on Mez. Is pressure coming in from both windows? As we know, we see this all the time, where you have one on the south side single window. That was where Hyper sprung in from a couple of rounds ago and netted 2 kills for his team. And now you can hear the fire of the Capitale burning away, forcing the members of G2 to move. And Prano steps into the web that DarkZero had set up. Plant's going down. Alamal looking to push his way in. One on the window. Great idea on the pre-fire, but that plant has been stuck. Canadian's gone down. NJR finding the second as Canadian still on the deck, makes it a 3 versus 2 for G2.
There's an opportunity here, like you said. There's one down outside. They've got a little bit of cover, but in a 3v2 effectively, there might be a chance for G2 to be able to get to this activated diffuser. But I want to shout out DarkZero for that play, because that was big. Getting in there and being able to get that diffuser down at that point in the round was fantastically done. So well played, DarkZero, and they're going to have to go for this here, but there's just going to be no option because Hyper's going to wait for that noise. He's going to step round and likely get this kill. Virtue steps out, he loses it. They come out onto the balcony.
Oh, what? How was that?
Hyper should never get both of those kills.
No! I'll tell you what, G2 are cursed on that window. Think about again in EUL, they were in a 4 versus 1 post plant in essentially an identical situation against Keenan from Team Secret. And there were 4 of them all throwing themselves out the window, one after the other, and they just could not kill Keenan. The same things happened here again. Citizen was saying, I can't look down. It's because you've got to drop off the balcony, my man. Drop down, kill him, vault in the window, get the defuse. That's what you want to be doing. But ultimately, loses out to Hyper in that 2 versus 1, and DZ take the round.
2-2 now on the scoreboard. And still level pegging. Honestly, I think we're going to see this just go back and forward throughout the entire game. So far, nobody has been able to string 2 rounds together. It's been G2 DarkZero, G2 DarkZero. Into round number 5, and that would suggest that we're maybe going to have a G2 win if the pattern continues. But DarkZero will be looking to say something about that. It's going to be Master and Office, which is the same site that we had in round 2, and DarkZero got the Windows. So if that followed, basically one pattern's going to have to be broken. DarkZero got the win in Master and Office, but G2 in terms of how the scoreboard has bounced about would be due a round win. So one of those is going to change. DarkZero, they are probably going to look for more of the same. They didn't really get themselves into Library last time. It was pretty much just get in and kill everybody, really.
Yeah. I mean, G2 made it a little bit easy for them, again, by playing so isolated and split across the map that really the site was never part of the conversation. It was just get in and kill them. There was absolutely no issue at all, no more complication beyond that. On the other side of DarkZero, mind you, they've had like 4 changes come in through the attacker repick, so I think they expected to be going to a different site here. They have not got the thermite on side, which most teams do have when trying to push into this site, because you open up the entirety of the office wall, step just inside, get a plant down, you can go against a half wall. It gives you a lot of options, whereas with the ace on side, those Selmas, you've got to be a little more selective on where it is that you want to plant.
Pamba's going to open up the office balcony window, just enough to get a drone inside, see what's going on. They'll be making sure that G2 aren't playing down in the basement or in bar and gaming as they were previously. Brano is heading back in that direction once again. We saw him trying to work from that angle. The thing is, it can be a nasty little angle if you can get yourself onto the main stairs that come up from basement into main lobby, or get yourself on that gaming door. If you don't get picked up, as soon as they start playing into the office balcony here in front of Pamba and trying to get that wall open, you can get a free kill or two. It's just whether Prano can keep himself off the radar in doing so.
Got to note as well on DZ's side, the Nomad +4 Claymores in back pocket. Of course, now all deployed and out on the map, but just showing, I mean, I thought that was the Claymore going off, but no, it was a frag grenade coming out of Pamba. They're just really ready to deal with any aggression coming out of G2. Runouts, jump outs, you name it. They've got the flanks on lock, just trying to keep Doki at bay because we know how problematic he has been so far throughout this game. We're getting up on the roam and hitting them on the flank.
Citizen just keeping a tight angle for the time being. Him and Doki playing right on top of each other at the minute. Look at that kill from Citizen, finding the head of Canadian and goes back to that breach on the double wall to just try and hold off any further push. Hyper's looking at the office door here. He's taking pot shots in through there, trying to hit anything that moves but can't find anything, cannot connect. And Citizen, he's just going to relocate himself into the corner of master bedroom. He's there to try and hold on to the solar side, but needs to be careful of the double window repel of NJR.
We're looking for it here, yeah. 8-man last standing with 40 seconds on the clock means a very explosive close to this round is afoot. One on the window, still Doki. Maybe fancying his chances at a challenge here as there's one more on the piano window. He's been very much boxed in here, quite literally, and held in place by those two angles, whereas Citizen has played with a little bit more freedom inside of the actual master bedroom itself. Hyper's holding that longer angle. They're looking to find someone. They get Virtue. He's not one of those two power players in Doki and Citizen that are holding on sites itself, but it does let them move up. Doki, speaking of, has moved right up here, has weaseled out of that little hole he found himself in. Pamba into a 3K in the round, is looking to keep on marching forward. Citizen stepping across, the rotation coming through. It's a 2 versus 2. Pamba has got to make this happen, but the C4 from below. Prano was ready. NJR finding one more, but with not enough time left, will get away from that one, and G2 hold on.
This is exactly what I said about Prano earlier in the round, Des. If he can keep himself off the radar, there is the potential for him to get kills from underneath. It wasn't so much from the angle, the wide angle out on main stairs. Instead, he'd moved himself into dining, and that is a lethal position to allow a defender to play if you're going in for a plant at half wall, and you've just seen exactly why. It comes down to time, but Prano, you'd have to put money on him to win that fight. He was stood looking at that hatch as that final drop came in, and surely it would have been his. Great round from Prano there to close things out. G2 get themselves the round, and it's 3-2.
Beautiful stuff from Prano overall, then has to turn tail and run as well, because yet again, we came down to that 1 versus 1 where the clock was on the side of G2. They have those 3 rounds. If DarkZero closes up at 3-3, Tim, you start getting that feeling that that magical word is going to come back online once more, that overtime starts to approach. You had a good few overtime games on day 1. I think the first 2 games actually both were in overtime, so I'd love to see some more of that to round out the group stages. Do, of course, have a bit more going on. And in case you guys missed it while we were in the pre-game, we do have a slightly revised schedule where 2 of the games from the A stream will be played instead here on the B stream. Both the Cyclops' games will be here because of the delays that we've had over on the A stream. So we'll still get through all those games, but you'll see them instead on the B stream rather than the A stream.
Citizen up on the top floor, just going to be getting those frost mats down, just to make it difficult for DarkZero to get inside of the map. It's going to be a kitchen site. Oh, what's this going on? Doki just having a little look, nearly catches a man on the rappel there, but won't quite manage it. Going to shoot a few shots through the barricade, just keep DarkZero thinking before he heads up to the top floor to support the other G2 players who are going to be trying to hold on to those verticals for as long as possible.
Doki again kind of playing the more flank-based play here, rather than playing with the team like he was in the last round, sat alongside Citizen. It's a small change in play style, just looking to try and greet them on the entryway in. You've got Alamau currently hovering around on the mezzanine. A little bit risky here, as there are no reinforcements on these walls to kind of give them a reason to play out here. And there we go, it's a freebie coming in from the office window. Pamba just collecting that one with no troubles at all.
4v5 then, and DarkZero have gone pretty well on the entry so far.
Oh, please,
Citizen,
please,
however, with a very late...
Yes, Citizen, yes!
Doki's going to find a kill onto Hyper. That leaves us now 4v3. And that is G2 taking the initiative here. A 4-2 half on the defense for G2 would actually be a really big success. It would be a real coup for them to be able to take that, because moving on to the attack, you got to favour them here on Chalet. Canadian managing to shoot out that Frostmite. You got to remember that's never a guarantee when you come through there anymore. Nitro's going to detonate beneath him, but it won't find his feet. Not any success. So Canadian with the sledge can start opening things up, and he's got plenty of time as well. There's 121, but G2 might just look to force somebody back up onto that top floor.
May well do. Yeah, just as a note as well for Alamau, this is what I spoke about with that reinforcement normally on the single mez wall. You have it there so you can play against the wall itself rather than having to step south side of the door, because that's what exposes you to that office window. And this is why DZ bring things like the Capital to force you to step further back, and does mean you can then get yourself pinched out. In the same way here, Eclipse has found Virtue from on high. A freebie kill coming in as DarkZero get to work on those verticals, Tim, but it is a 3 versus 3. There's still good numbers available for G2 here, so not super concerned just yet. And you've got Citizen looking to contest upstairs here on the top floor.
This is it. I said G2 might look to force somebody up there just to keep DarkZero thinking and make them just a little bit uncomfortable to use that. But the problem is now they've been able to take sides. If Eclipse gets that kill, it's very different. But no, he's going to move instead behind the bomb chassis, look to get the diffuser down. Citizen and Prano are going to be coming back from the same location, and that's a successful plan. That's not ideal. Citizen takes a ton of damage as well, and DarkZero are playing this fantastically well, but somehow Citizen manages to gun down Canadian from underneath. He finds his feet and he shuts him down, and JR, he's going to be looking into the long angle. Can he find the last man? Yes, Slays from far away. Hits Citizen with the final kill, and that's going to be DarkZero leveling things up 3-3.
3-3 scoreline, Tim. The perfect halfway mark and the perfect entry into round 7, knowing that this game could very well be careering towards that all things even split at the 6-6 mark. Just as a reminder, coming into this game, we said DarkZero are on 11 points, G2 are on 8. If G2 get the regulation win and take 3 points, they will tie things up with DarkZero at 11 points. And everything then comes down to G2's game against W7M later. DarkZero, if they win by any means, will kind of extend that gap more than 3 points. So no matter what G2 do against W7M, they will not be able to catch them. So DarkZero sorely want this win. Otherwise, that first place spot is taken out of their hands, and G2 are the ones who get the final say.
I'm loving watching this because, as I said, these are two teams that could be heading for the Final Four if they have a decent quarter-final matchup. Yeah. And I want to see them tested, and that's what they're both doing to each other. It's hard fought. They're both playing well. There's plenty of kills going down all over the place. We've got NJR on 8. We've got Pamba on 7. Look across at G2. We've got 6 and 5 for Dokit and Citizen. There's plenty going on here. So which of these two teams can really dig deep and get this one won? It might just be a little bit of an eye-opener, a little bit of a prelude to what we might see further down the line.
Just look at the comp being brought along by G2. I mean, I don't blame them. Knowing they're in the kitchen site, now would be a wonderful time to make use of Fuse. It sounds like the kind of thing you'd say back when you first start playing the game and you look at all the operators for the first time and see what Fuse can do and say, oh yeah, it'll be wicked to bring in and pop on some floors and kill everyone inside the site. Sure, but very rarely do you actually get that opportunity. But G2, they pioneered it back on, I want to say, they pulled out some crazy stuff on Cafe, using the Fuse as well. Now they're trying to make it happen on Chalet. They've also got the Ying to sit behind here as well. And no hard breaches, Tim, except for the 4 gadgets in the back pocket of Citizen and in the back pocket of Doki. Here comes number 1. Hyper on the other side of it here might find himself getting tagged out if not too careful.
The two major purposes of Fuse, realistically, are to move players around and to clear utility. Like you say, if you get a kill, you get some damage, it's just a bonus. Doki's got a kill though, so has Alamau with a nade on to Hyper. 5v3, 5v2. Wow, this is falling apart quickly. Alamau gets himself 3 in the round, a double there, and that is going to be Prano in and getting the diffuser down. There's nothing Pamba can do. Wow. He is pinned in. Virtue finishes off a flawless round for G2, and they just looked electric on the attack.
Tim, make the line about knock. Alamau's on knock. What are we going to say?
Knock, knock.
No, not quite that.
Go on.
Knock today, Des, as you'd say normally.
I've got lots of different knock ones.
Go on then. You've got knock knock, obviously. We've got knock today.
Knock again.
Knock again.
Basically anything you can put the word not into.
Yeah.
Knock like this.
Knock like this is a good one, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I love that one.
What else we got?
Loads of them.
I'm sure we can think of plenty more. But overall, a really good attack from G2.
It was.
And looking at the kind of setup from Doki when he was trying to go through the double castle, well, through the double window barricade of the castle, he had the actual hard breach charge on one side, plus the fuse charge on the other. and just use that to kind of be more of a distraction than anything. Whilst all attentions were turned skywards, that is when Nock came in through West Main, swept through site, and Alamau just completely cleaned them out. Now we get to go into Baron Gaming instead, and I doubt G2 pull out a similar comp once again, but we do have the Nock making a return.
No surprise with the success that it's just seen.
No. I'm Nock surprised.
There you go. So look, I love that you're being converted. You're being converted, and I'm here for it. We're going to head into round number 8 then. It's going to be Bar and Gaming here as G2 look to extend their lead. They are yet to go more than one round ahead. Both teams, that is. Nobody has been able to get any real clear breathing space, so we would expect DarkZero to continue that by potentially getting a win. But the big spanner in the works for them potentially is the fact that they are now on defense and have just lost their first defense. So they're going to have to find the first, and it's going to be looking at Bar and Gaming. Now then, they've got Pamba up in Bathroom, so they're going to be trying to hold on to the north side a little bit, and then they've got Hyper and NJR playing here. It's interesting, DarkZero are one of the teams that don't play with somebody on Library Stairs. They just play with Library Box and Mezzanine, and then they've got Pamba out on the north side to try and prevent the push coming in from there. Those three, they need to work together, and they need to cover each other's angles.
I like it that they try something a little bit different. You know, it's not always the same. You get this direct line of confrontation onto the single window, which normally is held for free by the attackers as they try and lob grenades over and try and clear the player out that is sat on Mezzanine itself. Out comes the Selma here, but as we've seen from DarkZero so many times, there are ADSs scattered around, all kinds of manner of gadgets to stop this attack being easy, and showing maybe why more teams should be trying to employ it.
NJR still alive despite all the throwable utility that has come his way. He's going to be challenging onto that window. It's Doki who was looking in through there. I'm not sure if he's going to... No, he's having another peek, and he's going to be taken down. It's going to be Pamba though, and this is what I said, Des. If you remember, they need to help each other. They need to cover each other's angles. So Doki's fighting with NJR. He's looking into box, but Pamba takes the opportunity to just make a challenge from a slightly different angle. He gets himself the kill. That's Doki gone. Advantage DarkZero.
And here we go. Prano's trying to find another way around here. I think the whole team are probably going to rotate off here and look to come in from the north side instead, as Library looking like a bit of a lost cause. Alamau, in he comes here, sees the man, steps about round, easy snap headshot onto Canadian. Him and Virtue charging their way down to this lower 90 to move on forwards. Prano into a second. So what started out as a great round for DZ, holding G2 at bay, is slowly starting to fall apart, Tim.
That's it, they've got themselves established now, but G2's big concern should really be Hyper and whether they're aware of his location and how he's going to be able to impact here. He's got a rotation hole that means he can move back through to the north, but he can also hop over that balcony as well and engage on the lower level. So they need to be careful about that. Alamau, he's creeping forward. Is he going to find anybody here? He's got NJR in box still, and he's got Hyper behind him. He needs to be finding one of them. Hyper, he's looking to circle round here. I think he's aware of somebody in and around Piano, but maybe not hear the knock exactly where. But the shooting from Alamau gave him away, and they were completely unaware of Hyper's position on that rotation. Well played, DarkZero, to level things up. 20 seconds to go.
That's definitely a why is he even there kind of call coming out from Alamau as well, because the whole box was hard reinforced off. Why would anyone be sat inside of office at that point? But Hyper showing exactly why you should do the unexpected, as you can catch the team completely off guard. Virtue on the lower, going to find one man as he drops over the top of the balcony. 2 versus 2. We've got about 5 seconds on the clock and no diffuser in hand. It's down in lobby. I think G2 are going to run out of time here, Tim. We get into the last second. It is absolutely clock zero for them. DarkZero taking the round.
DarkZero played really well on the top floor there, NJR and Hyper particularly, but Pamba deserves a mention in with it as well. Just getting that first kill onto Doki really helped to keep NJR in his position, but I just love the way that they played it. Alamau taking those shots. Obviously, he had to take the default cam down, I think it was, that he was looking at, and he knew that NJR was off in box, so a couple of pre-fires as he came around the corner, but I don't think up to that point that Hyper knew which side of the door he was on in Piano, so he was just being a little bit cautious, but as soon as those shots come in, that was all the information that Hyper needed to get aggressive, get out there and get the kill. Well played, DarkZero. They take themselves another, and it is now at level once again. 4-4, and the back and forth continues.
I just got a message from Kenny from Team Secret,
Yes.
And he said to me, just fell for your trap. You guys were talking about cringe casters after the shutdown conversation. Tried to type it in Twitch chat and got dished out a 10-minute time ban.
Sorry, Ken.
We actually didn't know that that was a thing, so we apologise to everyone who got timed out as a result of typing that to play along with a joke. Genuinely apologise.
Oh dear. Maybe we should look into that.
I'll tell you why that is. It's because it's been typed so many times that the auto bot's just like, yeah, get rid.
Yeah, it's probably like, yeah,
Auto
that's
bot,
it. It's
auto
probably
bots.
more of a, it's probably more of a spam thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Sorry about that. So, coming into round number 9, we have got 4-4 as G2 continue on their attack. They're going to be attacking down into the basement. Will they use my favourite attack? Will they get themselves down to the bottom of West Main, try to open up that wall, open up trench, and get in behind the wine wall? Sayano, thank you very much. He knows exactly where I'm going.
A great pun about Nook, someone just said. They need to knock it off with these puns.
Yes!
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 I
love that.
Robert Langer, bless you.
I love
That's
that
a
you're
good
getting
shout.
involved. Now then, G2 are going to that main garage door, Des. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing.
No likey.
No,
no likey.
In fact, I think I do like what I'm seeing because it looks like they're rotating. There is nothing wrong with opening that up because it gives a lot of pressure to the defenders. It's another angle that they can be attacked from. Citizen looks like he's waiting off to one side. He will no doubt just be doing a bit of droning, keeping himself in position, and when the rear-sided push comes, he can then challenge from the front, and I do like that. But if G2 get themselves into trench, get themselves into big garage, Virtue's there, looks like that's going to be the case, then yes, I like what I'm seeing from this.
Have you ever thought about becoming a consultant, Tim, like an analyst consultant for teams? They wouldn't employ you as your full consultant, but just for this site,
just for this, I appreciate that, Des. I mean, don't be ridiculous, Tim. They wouldn't employ you normally to talk to them about Siege, but maybe this one site.
The reason why they would hire you, Tim, is not as an analyst.
Gas me up some
They'd
more.
hire you as a hype man. Oh no! Not today, Oryx.
Absolutely not. Alamo is going to be hunting down the Roamers still on the top floor. Hyper is going to drop away. Not sure if the hatches are open or not. There may be an opportunity for him to get himself back upstairs on Oryx using that ability, of course. He's not going to catch anybody out at trench now. It's a little bit late, but the problem that G2 might have here is if the hatch is open in dining, it will allow Hyper to be able to challenge onto the plant spot. So they need to be aware of that. Yes, it is. So if Hyper's playing in and around that area, they're going to have to go and clear him. They're going to have to take control of dining.
$500 you normally charge for that level of analyst as well.
Do you reckon?
Yep.
I think it's Alamo who it's going to be his job to move down from the top floor and make sure they're in charge of that.
NJR, just finding Doki
that's why
going
you
aggressive.
need to clear pillars.
Yeah, this shield itself is really powerful as well in this position where normally you wouldn't have one. You have to kind of like blind check around the corner. Having a shield here just means you have that little bit more information. Canadian with a perfectly timed swing onto Citizen as he lets go of that frag grenade into the depths of Snowmobile's bowels, but nothing able to be found by it. Instead, loses his life in the process. Alamau still working his way around the top floor here, but down to a 3 versus 5. G2 not with much time, resource, or really much to go on, to be honest with you, Tim.
They like an abandoned theme park, Des. There's just not a lot
to go on.
There's not a lot to go on right now.
Fantastic.
Out goes the nitro from NJR. It does not connect, though. He's going to continue playing in behind that shield. Prano aware of the West Main flank. Canadian manages to get Alamo. That's going to mean that there is not any support coming from anywhere above. And now Virtue, he's going to try to do what he can. He switches to the pistol. He gets shut down. And DarkZero, they take the round with a very good defense there, showing how to hold on to Wine.
DZ's defense, unknockable, unflappable, Tim.
I threw one in near the end for you there, Des.
I did hear
I didn't even break stride.
You didn't, mate. It was beautiful.
I've been doing it for a long time.
Since
my LATAM days.
It is painful at the best of times, Tim. But as painful as that whole attack was for G2, right? DarkZero, they just swung 2 of the first kills they got coming out of NGR and Canadian was just beautiful timing, a really smart read.
The thing that you've got there is DarkZero showing how to hold on to the basement, and that is don't play a turtle defense down there. You've got to get out in the map, you've got to open that hatch in dining. So if you're sat at home thinking, right, Ish, you've told us how to attack this site, how do we defend it? You need to get the hatch open for my money, because you need to have that threat of being able to deny the plant. Otherwise, you are completely limited to having the player at pillars, and as soon as you lose that player, it is done. And what DarkZero did there, they opened the dining hatch, and they had 2 players on the roam. You don't necessarily need any more than 3 down in sight if it's going to be a big garage and trench push. So they had 2 out on the roam, and it just kept Alamo busy for so long that it meant they had control of that dining hatch. So until they had got everything cleared out, there was no point G2 pushing to try and get a diffuser down. And then the challenge with NJR, he played that very well. In at pillars, kept himself locked in there, and the combination of those 2 things just meant there was absolutely no way that G2 was going to get in there to get that diffuser down. So great defense of basement.
And in this round, G2 aren't going for that same strat once again. Kind of acknowledge you can try it once, but if it comes off a second time, it's really down to ignorance and a mistake on the other side. DarkZero, they are showing that respect to and acknowledging, all right, chances are they'll figure this out. Alamau's having a field day on this knock so far, though. Timmy's been working his way around the map continually round after round. A big 3K last time round, they were attacking into this site. Looking for a repeat here once again? Quite possibly, but DarkZero should be a little bit wiser to it, given we have seen this every single attacking round for G2 so far.
That's it. You know, so far they haven't really had the answer, but I mean, last round they did sort of neutralise him at least. He was playing a lot around the top floor, chasing Hyper, sort of chasing shadows, really not able to shut him down.
Not able to shut him down.
I'm trying not to do it every time.
You're trying not to do it, Tim.
I'm setting you up for him now. So, Pamba is going to be up in piano. DarkZero still trying to keep hold of the top floor here because, of course, Doki bringing the sledge along is going to mean a lot of verticality. Prano's going to open up that office wall. First step in clearing from south to north. Get that open and you can start pushing in. That's going to force the defenders back. We see Hyper doing exactly that. Takes a backward step into bathroom. You can then move forward, get into piano, get into office, and so on and so forth until you claim the entire top floor. Pamba, he's going to be a bit of a problem here, though. He's looking to get aggressive into piano. He's got his shield to play behind as well. That's something that's going to have to be cleared out.
I like how we had, just for a second then, 4 players of G2 sat on drone. For about 5 or 10 seconds, they were all running around the map, making sure they knew what was going on. They kind of got step 1 done. They got inside the building, they got themselves set up to start a move forward. Then it's information gathering, figuring out what's going on, and ultimately finding a freebie. Canadian going down, Virtue almost losing his life, Citizen into a second. Looking good for G2 here on their march forwards. With 60 seconds left on the clock and a 3rd kill coming in, they can take this one as slow as they like.
Certainly can. Hyper's going to go over the rail there to get himself downstairs quickly. We have a kill coming back in for DarkZero, so if nothing else, at least it won't be a flawless round for G2, but they're certainly in the driving seat at the minute. They're in command of round number 10, and they are looking to level things up and guarantee a full 12 rounds. Hyper's going to hold on for the time being at the bottom of the Trophy to Solarium stairs there while Doki's doing his work, but I'm not sure if he's aware that Hyper's underneath. Alamau was, though, and he goes over the rail there, manages to get himself a kill. Can he find the last man in behind the bomb chassis? No, it's Doki who manages to find that final kill. I was thinking too much of Knock in my head, and that is going to be G2 taking that round, and we are guaranteed 12. It's 5-all, and only one team will get the opportunity to take a full 3 points.
Too much knock in the noggin there, I think, Tim, at the very end of that round. But yeah, a wonderful little drop through at the end. 2 appearing at once. 1 from Alamau pushing down Solar Stairs, and 1 Doki coming down through the hatch. Good pinch play coming out of G2 to close out the round. And again, I love that composure in the mid-round to pause at 1 minute 30. You've got control of crucial areas. Get on the drones, figure out what's going on, and move forward from there. Now let's see how things go once again inside a bar and gaming. Tim, I called it back at like 2-2, 3-3. Overtime was on the way. I'm hopeful.
It's certainly looking like it could be the case. Neither team has had 2 clear rounds so far throughout. It's been 1 round at the absolute most, so you would expect them both to take 1 each now out of the final 2. It's going to be bar and gaming for DarkZero to try and hold on to. They defended it back in round 8, and they got the win on it. Pamba opened us up with a big opener onto Doki, and they just continue to roll forward from there. G2 really didn't make too much of an impression on site from memory, so G2, they're going to need to do a little bit more here. In fact, I tell you, it was the beautiful NJR and Hyperplay up on top floor, and they just never got moved. So G2, they've got to disrupt this defense. That's got to be the key word for them here, is disruption.
That's kind of the summary of the game, really, is defenders want to disrupt the attackers want to disrupt the defenders, mate. Just back and forth disruption, getting up in each other's face. It's not a game of SimCity at the end of the day. You need to be trying to disrupt the other side and keep them busy. Hyper out here towards Mezzanine is just hoping someone's going to try and appear up on the office side of things. And as we saw last time round, he was largely ignored. So much so that he managed to shoot Alamau in the back when he was trying to move his way forwards down towards the library side. Canadian down to half HP already. And G2 have just come in at breakneck speed there, knocks him out. And in comes Doki trying to get something back as well. But it's Pamba to come in for the trade.
4v4 as Pamba looks to relocate up on the top floor, keep himself a little bit of a nuisance and keep G2 guessing. I think somebody's just moving onto the balcony. It's Virtue on the rappel. He's not going to push forward. He sees the man, and that is a bad peek from Hyper. He just wanted to have a little look, and as he appears at the bottom of that windowsill, Virtue's just going to do him a little bit favour, remove his head and make his shoulders a little bit lighter there, and that gives G2 an advantage. They may be the ones that get the opportunity to close this out, but when you're looking at bar Baron Gaming on an attack, there's still a bit of work to do before you can think about getting that diffuser down.
I feel like NJR is the cornerstone of this defense as well. He's in his box like he normally loves being. He's like a cat, Tim. You just can't get him out once he finds a box that he really likes. But he's sat in that back corner. So G2 have got that question of, okay, do you want to go and force him out away from Library? Well, he's left his box now, Tim. Maybe he's hungry. Either way, he stepped away. They need to get rid of him so they can have control of Library and then play with the vertical. Start looking in for those plants. Because right now you've got NJR and Pamba kind of with this little crossfire being set up. And G2 have got about a minute and 20 to play with here in which to force them away.
That's it. Pamba's position on Library Stairs could be important because it supports NJR and it stops G2 pushing into him too aggressively. But Pamba has moved away, and as soon as G2 realise this, they may well try to pressure NJR, and quite rightly so. With Pamba moving away, he moves himself back into the slightly more secure position of the Library box. But G2, they need to find a way, Des. They've got to get in there. They've got nades on Alamau. They can start throwing them around a bit. They need to get NJR moved, and they need to get that vertical control. Citizen, he's going to get the kill onto Pamba. That's a big first step, but NJR could still be the problem. He's moving out onto Mez. He's got a little bit of information from the clone that's going to just be feeding in those pings, giving him those locations. He tries to make the challenges, but nobody is presenting themselves to him.
I think Citizen's working his way in through office here as well. NJR taking a few shots. Yes, he's coming for the challenge, but can he win with a shield to his back? No, he can't, but he does at least get himself away alive, down into the depths, in towards the basement. Alamau chasing him down with the pistol in hand. NJR, the last man left standing, 15 seconds on the clock, and surely Prano and Alamau can move this up to a 6-5 G2. They're going in for the plant. A temporary 1 versus 1 ensues, and NJR is looking for an opportunity here. Sees one on the stairs, but Alamau gets the shot. It's 6-5 G2 with an opportunity to take all 3 points.
In order to do that, they're going to have to do something that they haven't been able to so far, and that is to get themselves 2 rounds in a row, to get themselves 2 points clear, essentially. Not been able to do that.
Not been able to do that, despite Alamau's
valiant attempts on knock. So it's going to be round number 12 and the last opportunity for G2 to get that 3 points, tie themselves up overall in the group, in the top spot, and then give themselves an opportunity. Even 1 point, even an overtime loss to W7M would then put G2 into the clear top position. Tactical timeout, DarkZero.
I was just about to say, we haven't seen a tactical timeout used throughout this game. The back and forth nature of it has kind of said, well, what's the point? You know, we are winning rounds, so why try and break the flow? But DZ, now they're at match point, go, right, okay guys, it is time to make the call here and have that pause. Have this conversation, figure out what we need to get right, because Baron Gaming is going to be that next site that we step into. We've seen it played a number of times throughout the game. Some playing around the outside after the plant had gone down, looking back to DarkZero's round where G2 fluffed up the 2v1 in the post plant. It's a eventful site at the best of times, so we'll keep a close eye on that double window, see if the plant comes in, which Hyper currently is laying down some quite literal welcome mats for.
Here we go then, into what could be the final 3 minutes of what has been a very entertaining game of Siege. I have thoroughly enjoyed this one between G2 and DarkZero, and I can't say that there's not a little bit of me thinking I'd love to see these two meet up in a best of 3 later on in the tournament, be that semi-final, or who knows, maybe even grand final. It'd be an absolute
Could you
beauty.
imagine G2 DZ in a grand final?
It'd be beautiful, wouldn't it? You've got the rematch of this, which has been fantastic, but you've also got, I'd really like an EU NA final this time.
Me too.
In
me
NA,
too.
with the NA fans here, I just think it'd be really, really good fun.
G2 would love that rival energy, to be the villains on stage in a way. They absolutely love it. And you've got us two, or potentially someone else, screaming in G2's favour, like, come on, you can do it. We'll sit there on the front row with everyone else and go, actually, where are we going to watch it?
Well, I imagine here.
Well, obviously, but where are we going to sit? I don't want to be in, like, a green room watching it.
I'd like, yeah.
We're dreaming up a scenario a bit too soon here before we even know who's in that grand final. But right now, Canadians trying to make sure this one definitely goes through to OT. Currently a 5 versus 4 for DarkZero.
Canadian just on a little bit of a roam there, going to move himself around, just get himself into an alternate position. Pamba up on the top floor. DarkZero could really do with doubling down here. They've got the opener onto Prano, and it's a good start, but they just need to find themselves one more, and you start feeling like, yep, you're definitely on your way to overtime then.
Alrighty, holding up on Mez. This is where DZ have been historically very good at breaking things open. They've had a Capitao on side, for example. They've yeeted nades in. They've got aggressive with hypervolting in. But with them being on the defensive side means they're probably very aware of attacks like this. Doki is quite literally in Narnia, Tim. Headed straight for the alcohol downstairs. What a surprise. Scotsman and all, trying to work his way forwards and up. At least at this point, they've ignored what's going on the top floor. And I imagine Tim might just try and hit site directly here and just say, forget about the clear. We know how good DZ are at holding it, so let's just go direct 101 to site.
Exactly. They've got away with clearing top floor once in the last round, maybe thinking, you know what, we're not going to be able to do that every single time because they really do know what they're doing up there. So like you say, maybe mix things up. Doki's gone up to the roof now, 1 minute 20. I'm a little bit concerned about this G2 attack.
Knife.
They're going to lose Citizen to a knife from Eclipse as
was
well.
down, to be
and
fair.
it just feels like G2 don't have a lot of direction here, Des. There's just a little bit of indecision from them.
I really feel there with Citizen coming up the snowmobile stairs, that was sort of their surprise plan. That's where the damage could have been done, and without that, they might just fall short. Hyper finding Alamau across onto that office window, more than aware of what angles he can and can't play. Not being shot from the lobby door, but needs to be aware of the new challenger coming up here on the piano window as well. Virtue, a smoke coming out onto the door. But like you say, Tim, I think they're just a little bit short of ideas here. 2 versus 5, petering out into nothing, and DarkZero look to take this one through to overtime.
Exactly. Doki just peeks around that door. He's going to be shut down by Pamba. That puts the diffuser down in enemy territory as well. Virtue, he's going to have to go in and get a couple of kills before he can even think of picking up that briefcase. He's got 30 seconds left to do it. DarkZero are getting aggressive. He's going to find the first. That's onto Pamba. Takes a lot of damage, though. He's down to about 1 or 2 HP here. If literally one of these DarkZero players can breathe on him, it will be the end for Virtue. He moves in through the front door. Nothing else to do other than try and find a couple of kills. He realises that he's seen a man get shut down by a Canadian, and then that is it. There's 6-all, and hope everybody at home says it with me. We are going to overtime, Des.
That would have been a really good chance to practice. To get
That's what I did. I gave them all the opportunity.
Yeah, but more prep than that. You're like, right, you've got 10 seconds. We're going to do this one all together now.
I can't
Ready?
do that.
3,
just need to
2, 1.
You think that's what it needs?
Yeah,
A countdown?
I think it's what it needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll build that in.
Should we do a few dry runs on Friday when the crowd are here?
Yeah.
Just in case.
Do a few practices.
You know what'll happen now? We'll go into a
Oh,
series.
we won't go to overtime.
Yeah, we'll get like 7-2, 7-2 back-to-back maps and be done. Yeah. No cut downs, no nothing.
I'll
No,
be upset.
no Rooney, no laser gates. It'll be awful.
That'd be good.
What? Getting the crowd going, laser gates.
Heading into round number 13 then. It's going to be a best of 3 rounds between G2 and DarkZero as they continue to fight over the top spot in the group of death in Group C.
I call it Group of Keth because it's Group C.
Well, yeah.
It'd be great if it was Group D, but obviously it's not.
It's not.
So it's the Group of Keth.
But they are still fighting over that top spot, and they are fighting tooth and nail all the way at the minute.
Group M.
Going into round 13, it's going to be G2 continuing on the attack. There is no advantage to be found realistically. It's been 3-3 in both halves. So attack defense doesn't really matter too much between these two. And G2, they're going to be attacking onto Bar and Gaming. It does not surprise me in the slightest that DarkZero have picked that site. They've just won it, and they have shown a real proficiency of defending it over the course of the last 6 rounds.
G2 playing it pretty straight and narrow as well. No crazy comp coming out here to try and really upset the apple cart that is DarkZero. Imagine they'll save some of that for the quarterfinals on Friday. Here, things looking pretty stable once again outside of Alamau. Again, playing on the knock as he has done for the entirety of the second half. Some rounds very successful, others a little bit less so. The most successful was the one inside a kitchen dining where he walked away with a big, massive 3K as a result of bursting in from West Main whilst Doki was distracting elsewhere, playing on the fuse of all operators. Here we go then, Jar, sat inside of his favourite box. He really is a cat at this point, Tim, but I think G2 know they've really been held up by him now twice. They haven't been able to get through Library when he's been sat in this spot with DZ playing support. So are you going to go for a crazy idea here? Are we going to see something different? You've tried to come from below, you've tried to go over them, but you just can't do it. Is the last option to go through them?
They've got to find something. They've got to find a way to get NJR moved and to get themselves into Library. If that's the plan, Pamba's going to take a lot of damage, but he's going to do a lot more as he dishes out a headshot to Citizen. And that is a great opener and a great start for DarkZero. G2 already having trouble clearing this top floor on this attack. Doki just a little bit itchy on the trigger finger there. He's going to take some shots and damage onto Alamau. Alamau knows exactly where Pamba is after the kill onto Doki, but it is not ideal losing Doki along the way. 4 4 versus 3 now, and it's DarkZero with the advantage.
I was really worried Doki had gone in too soon then and just ran into his demise for no reason, but thankfully Alamal was there ready to take the fight once they saw Pamba come pushing out. Otherwise, that could have been 3 kills to Pamba and a very disorganized round overall for G2. Again, I'll probably for my money say DarkZero are one of the best teams at defending this library area of the map. The knowledge they have around the window, around dealing with things like a Capitao, and they attack with it, to NGR playing in a spot that many others don't. It's just something that a lot of other teams struggle with, and G2 don't seem fully confident. I was going to say competent, but you could argue both at getting rid of Hyper, sat on Mez. This is all too easy. It's like a meat grinder, Tim, and DarkZero are feasting on G2. Down to 1 man left alive, yet again a 1 versus 4. This one could be going the way of, okay, nice little shot. I'll give you that one. But to get the next ones, it's simply not going to be the case. NJR like a cat scratching out, bringing down Virtue, and that's them moving up to match point.
7-6 now to DarkZero. How many times have we seen Virtue in that position in this game so far on Chalet? 1 versus X at the end of the round, 1 versus 5, 1 versus 4. We've seen it a number of times now. He's not been able to clutch them out, but you really can't hold it against him because it is tough situations, especially against the DarkZero team that are hitting the shots and that are playing well. We're going to have the tack time out coming in from G2 very late in the day to take a pause. There's Butchas obviously wanting to have a word with the team and try to impart some knowledge, something that can get them back on track.
And often for the coaches, it's an observation, right? I remember asking a few of them, at what point do you call a timeout? When do you want to step in? And some coaches go when it's all just going wrong. Sometimes they just need a breather. If the players are arguing, fighting, not really got the ideas there, you step in, call the timeout, and have a conversation to reset them back to base 1 again. Other times it's when you do spot something that you can just see is going completely wrong for them and you want to make sure they're realigned. I wouldn't be surprised if here it's just that chance for G2 to have a little bit of a conversation. You've lost those 2 rounds on the bounce now. Have that chat, get reset, go back into the next round and play it like you've done some of the ones that you've already walked away as the winner. They're going to step into Bar and Gaming, so let's see what DarkZero bring to the table.
G2 now or never. If you want to take that top spot, you're going to have to get in and do it because too many points go the way of DarkZero and you're not going to be able to catch them. Can they catch them, in fact? That's my question. Coming into this,
on how this
there's
ends.
3 points difference. So DarkZero get 1, G2
have
get,
to win.
So G2 have to win this. If they get less points than DarkZero, then it won't be possible. Okay, but if they do get more points, it is still possible. That's what I wanted to check, that the overtime hadn't left us without that possibility. It will all come down to the W7M matchup, and they're going to take the same side as they're going to go into Bar and Gaming. Let's see. It's a direct comparison. Can G2 hold on to this as well as DarkZero?
Like I say, for my money, DZ are one of the best teams on this site. Attack or defense, they just know what they're doing. Again, most teams by default will stick someone on library stairs behind a shield, where DZ will play NGR inside of the box. When attacking it used to be Canadian that played this operator, but because they've now got the Flores in the lineup, it's Eclipse bringing along the Capitao. You'll probably find them going onto the office balcony and using those firebolts to force the players on Mez to drop a little bit too far south, so a player from lobby or someone on the office balcony itself, heck, maybe even the Capitao, is there to be able to bring them down. They're very, very good at making players move on this site.
Drones flying in around basement there, just making sure that it is clear. Virtue's going to be playing on mezzanine once again, watching that main door, just trying to hold them out. Canadian sends in the Rotero drone, nearly gets it shot out, but just anchors in time to do maximum damage, take out the utility that was planned, and he'll no doubt be sending further ones in to try and take out further. There's another Banshee in there, for example. Hyper has got himself established downstairs in the basement now. Opportunity to potentially move to blue and put a bit of pressure on the player at the top of library stairs. But more importantly, he's going to open up the wall into connector, and that's just going to force out anybody who's playing inside of there because it becomes too big a risk, and it's usually Prano that we will find in that position.
They're just ignoring Virtue at the moment because he's not central to their plans, at least for the setup, right? You now can't play inside of the connector because of the Hibana holes that have been opened up from the main stairs looking in. So if you sat inside that room, someone's going to pop their head up and go, oh, freebie, down you go. So you can't sit behind that spot and deny the plant spot behind the half wall that you normally see inside of gaming. Now you're going to start seeing DarkZero get set up to try and move Virtue away from this spot. They've done the work in getting rid of the castle barricade, and Alamau drops back down into the basement. NJR already hitting the deck though, as Alamau finds his first in the round.
That's it, and we've got Canadian just on that garage door there. He knows that Alamau is ahead of him, but he's not able to go in and just get overly aggressive yet. He's going to start to move through, and doing so slowly, but I think Alamau's aware that he's coming and he's on the castle. Now then, where have we seen Canadian Castle playing as Castle, but he's going to get the kill this time as well. Not on the Castle, but finds him. It's going to be Canadian on to Alamo, 4 versus 4.
Not sure where Eclipse is putting his focus in this round. He's been sat on drones naturally for a large part of it. Pamba taking a challenge, but dying out to Prano, who swings out. Surprisingly, no cover coming in on that front door will mean they pay the price. Now all geared up towards this library side setup. Eclipse is in and going for a plant. Forget about using the fire bolts or the smoke bolts. It's plant time, baby. Hyper finding one back. A 3 versus 3. They'll be able to stick this. G2 have been here before. Pulling off a retake ain't the easiest for them.
Absolutely not. This is exactly how DarkZero played it before. Getting in and getting the diffuser down and then playing the post plant. They've got 2 outside. Prano has got the presence of mind to reactivate that laser gate. Now then going out of the windows, you got to go at the same time. You got to give yourself the opportunity to get those kills, and you got to make sure that you drop off the balcony ledge and not try to aim down. Hyper shuts down 2 up in the library, and that is almost certainly the match-winning moment, the moment that will secure DarkZero at the top of Group C, the group of death. They are the masters of the group of death, and they're going to be going into the playoffs in top seed.
That's exactly what you want to see. Prano knows the time is gone, and in typical KD saving fashion, as he loves doing, this one is going to go the way of DZ. A great and entertaining game, Tim. We asked for it to go from start to finish, and we had it all round for round for round for round, all the way through. Wonderful stuff, and DZ with a much-deserved top spot.
It's a great win for DarkZero there because they were pushed by G2. I'm sure that they will say, be the first to say how difficult a match that has been for them on both sides of the table, and DarkZero can take a lot of heart from that coming away with the win. It's 2 points, not the full 3, but it does enough to secure #1 seed coming out of Group C.
It does now mean that the G2 versus W7 game doesn't really have any impact later on, but for G2, if nothing else, it's a chance to have a bit of fun there as well. Show what they're really made of and just demonstrate, okay, we didn't get first, but you sure as hell can bet that we deserve to be in the playoffs.
Absolutely that. And I mean, they've just shown us that through that Chalet matchup, to be honest. It's been a fantastic performance from them on the whole. Just a little bit too short in that last round. Letting the plant come in was always then going to be a big difficulty.
All righty, let's go to a quick break, ladies and gents. And when we come back, we'll have some replays and a little chat about this game and the next one. See ya in a few. Could we do that again? Ah! You all missed that as well. The one line he said while his mic was turned off was, keep it professional. And here he is, not turning his mic back on. For shame. Do that little pirouette again, it's fun.
It's the one to do the cables. So we were talking about the cables. So if they're in front of you like that, you just do a 360. It keeps it over your shoulder and it keeps it out of your way. That's how you do it.
Whereas I'm just like, this is all I do. I'm much more unelegant about it. You're pretty much on the money with that one. Let's take a look at some replays from that game, though. DarkZero versus G2 did not disappoint. A thoroughly entertaining game from start to finish, Tim. It didn't go with like players dropping 20+ kills, but it was very fun, it was very aggressive, and that's what you wanted to see.
I've just realised we did a ponytail reveal. So we've got the replays right now, like you say. There was no team on top here. It came down to a close finish. DarkZero were able to get it over the line. I think they'd say themselves, honestly, any other day, G2 could have won it, DarkZero could have won it. You could play that game 10 times. That's how close it was, and you'd get a different winner every single time.
Yeah.
That's why I'd love to see these two line up against each other later in the tournament, because I just think they are very evenly matched. They're both playing decent Siege right now. They're entertaining to watch, and it would be an awful lot of fun.
I mean, truthfully, a lot of the difference in this game for me came again around DZ's library play. NJR holding down the spot, supported by Hyper out on Mez. Just everything came together so wonderfully, and G2 couldn't quite crack it. Outside of that, all things being equal, I thought both teams were pretty close throughout. Just that one small difference being what makes the difference between winning a map and potentially losing it. So a big one for DZ, and again, congratulations to them for finishing first in this group. I think looking ahead towards Friday, no matter who these teams play against as well, there's still a little bit they can be working on here. Outside of a couple of rounds.
There always is.
Yeah, the work is never done even for go-to champions. I mean, famously, there are a number of sports teams that win something, the next day, back on it, hard in practice, getting ready for the next year. Here are the stats in case you mixed it though. NJR putting up a bit of a show, 14-7 overall. Pamba, 13 deaths, but 5-1 on the entry is a screamer of a start with 13 kills also to his name.
Yeah, it really is. DarkZero, as we said throughout the game, really, were just on top of the entry. They were always giving themselves that advantage, and that just, you know, can be seen clearly there. 8 rounds to 5, so great play in the early rounds from DarkZero.
It does spark some questions still about Citizen, right? Consistently been one of the best and most consistent players that we have got in the world. Yet at this competition, there have been more games where he's gone negative than in any other before. It's not looking as strong for him as it has done previously. A lot of me, again with the copium and hopium, says maybe he's just saving it for the playoff stage, but we've really got to see him come online soon.
That's it, isn't it? You know, obviously I know you don't mean it by the use of the word. It's not about saving it, but hopefully that's when it's going to appear. You know, it's like you say, we know there's more in the tank for him, and other teams will know that as well. But the problem is, when you're a player that has got that level of quality, guess what? You get targeted, you get focused on by the other team, and they will play actively to shut you down. So Citizen is going to have to find a way to get himself into these games.
Well, we're still waiting for Big Ben to strike 12. Maybe it comes in the playoffs time. We'll tell. Us two idiots have had a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed that game with us, ladies and gents, as well as the ones earlier on today. That is us two done for groups. Of course, there are still more games to come, plenty more to look forward to, but we'll be back with you on Friday. For now, we'll go to a break. When we come back, another game will be awaiting. See you then.